All right, it's officially September, and really and truly, if we haven't already, we are deep in the throes now of business planning, making our plans for 2025, evaluating what's worked and what hasn't worked in 2024. And I was reflecting on this last night as I was wandering through our garden. As you can tell, it is finally chilly and wonderful and glorious here. And so I was wandering around the garden later in the evening, specifically in my vegetable garden. And you guys may remember I had written a blog post at the end of last year talking about how I was preparing the garden for a good harvest this year and how I had set down all the cardboard to choke out all the weeds and the conversation I had with my neighbor, the whole 9 yards. Well, frankly, I have not had a good gardening season. I have had very low yields. I have had very low production. It's been a little frustrating. And to be 100% honest with you, I have blamed it on everything but me. I blamed it on the extreme heat that we got, and then I blamed it on the extreme rain that we got. Literally hopping from one thing to the next. Last night, as I was going through the garden and finally pulling weeds, I laughed at myself. And I was thinking about how often I hear this from clients as well, that it's not my fault that production is down, right? It's the external factors. It's the market. It's the interest rates. It's the election. It's all the other things that I have no control over. And literally, I'm walking through my garden yesterday and pulling fistfuls of weeds. I noticed, not for the first time, that the irrigation system, no pun intended, my drip system is broken and has been broken for weeks. And I knew this, right? And I'm laughing at myself about how rather than getting it fixed, I'm thinking I have to drag this hose around to get the garden watered, and who wants to do that? And so I'm not going to do that. And just making literally everything harder on myself than it needs to be. Even the positive things that I had set up in the garden, like, for example, making sure that marigolds would grow so that pollinators would come and that the fruits would get pollinated, I let those completely take over the garden. Genuinely, take a second and look at the picture that I posted and tell me, would you expect a good yield to come out of that garden? It's okay. The answer is no. We all know this. You're not going to hurt my feelings. So as you're thinking about business planning and going into this phase of evaluating what worked and what didn't work, it's worth taking a second to look at, were my intentions good? My intentions were good. I spent a lot of time and energy and effort getting the garden prepared. I covered the ground with cardboard over the winter to choke out the weeds. I tilled the heck out of it. I added more resources. I intentionally planned out what was going to get planted where. Had great intentions. So maybe it wasn't your intentions. Maybe the game plan that you set, maybe your GPS 411 12-week year, whatever it is that you use, was great. What caused you to then falter when the going got tough? I know what caused me to falter. My irrigation system broke, and I was too lazy and it was too hot to go out there and drag the hose around. Good, bad, indifferent, that's what happened, right? So if I'm choosing to do a vegetable garden next year, which I will be, I need to make a contingency plan for stuff like that going wrong, right? Take a moment as you are working through your models, your economic model, your budget model, your lead gen model specifically, and look at what's working and what's not working. What do I need to make a game plan for to make sure that my life actually goes the way that I intend it to? Because again, it's on us. The life that you're living is the life that you created. The business that you have is the business that you have created. If you don't like it, let's change it.